Alright, I've got the front air dam ready to prime. Took the DA to it, sanded out all the rock chips. Had to go through here with a piece of 400, or I think maybe 180, and sand those all individually. So you can get all down in the cracks, the paint won't peel out of that. I'm going to shoot this with adhesion promoter first, give it 2 good coats of that, so this will stick. Gotten all the way down in this pocket. It's pretty deep. It's probably 4 or 5 inches deep right there. Just going to get 3 coats of primer on all this. I got one of the rocker panels ready to go. I'm going to prime the bottom of it and the spoiler. I've still got one more of those to go in the rear air dam, but I'll do those later on when I do that with the sunroof. Now, this is going to be Sim XXX. I'm going to put 2 light coats of this on it, and I'll be back when I'm ready for the primer. Alright, I'm going to put 2 more coats about to right there where the light is. I'm going to leave 1 coat right there in the center. That's plenty. Alright, I just about got the other rocker panel ready to go. I'm gluing the cracks back together. I've got them clamped in place where they need to stay. And I'm filling in the back just to get it stiffened back up. And that'll have their back repaired, and then I'll come back on the front and I'll fill in the rest of the damage there. I've got some in the crack there. It's still hardening up. It's only been on there for about 10 minutes. Once the back is hardened up, I'll flip it over, and that way I can take the clamps off and do a solid repair on the front. And I'll have to match this extra piece here on the side that's missing over here. I'll just back it up with aluminum tape or something, and then build a dam around it with foam tape. Then I'll just fill this in, and I'll leave something in that hole just so that it stays centered, and just fill that in with adhesive. And I'll just have to add that part of the tab back to it. The rest of it's sanded out. Only thing they got left to do to that is sand in these grooves, and then this spot here. Got all the broken paint off on the ends, all the rock chips. So it's ready to prime as soon as I get these grooves sanded out. Rear valance is in the same position or condition. Put another layer of filler here. It's still just a little bit low right in here in the middle, but I'm going to block that now. I DA'd it down and blocked it a little, but it was still a bit too low. There's a little deep scratch there. Put some of the 5887 there too. Everywhere else that I've sanded through is mainly where the paint was cracked. All I got left to do is scuff these areas that are still glossy here. I couldn't get the DA in, and like in these pockets, and come through here and do these grooves by hand, and they'll be ready for primer. Got the front metal valance here. Gotta do some straightening on that. And this part, this is the only visible part of it, so what I'm going to most likely do is paint down to this edge. Okay, I've got these two spots ready to fill. Got it backed up with aluminum tape, and I've got this built up as a dam just to keep it from running off. It shouldn't, but that'll just keep it thick right in here where I can grind it back down to the thickness I need. I've got a bolt stuck in the hole there so I don't lose my center point. And as the stuff hardens up, I'll just grab that and twist it and pull it out. I'll just have to sit out here and watch it. Same thing here. I've got the actual pieces still here, but there's a split all the way through the hole. So I'm going to keep the hole filled here with a bolt the same way so I don't fill the hole in. And I'll just pull it out once it gets stiffening up. Got a little bit of a gap between the aluminum and the bottom because I want some to flow through underneath and attach to the back. So I'm going to go ahead and get this filled. I'll be back when I've got it on there. Okay, it's in. Just flooded it around the bolt, built it up nice and thick. Alright, I got the tape pulled off and I took the file belt across these to flatten them down. Then I went through the recesses in here with the Dremel just to get that contour back into that recess back in the corner there along that back edge. Drilled the holes out, got those round again. It's not going to be the prettiest right in here, but it's the best I can do in this little tight area. But it'll at least mount to the car now. It's going to sit like this anyway. At the back side, cleaned up a little bit, leveled off. Once it's painted, it'll look fine, but you're not going to see any of this anyway up under the car. Like this. So I'm just going to leave that. Put some primer over it, and that'll smooth some of this out. We'll finish off a little bit more by hand and get the steps out of the material. But that's essentially repaired. At least the tab's back there and it's bonded together here. So there's 4 good mounts now. I got to get the rest of this glossed area sanded down and these grooves, and this will be ready to prime. Same thing on this one. Gonna block this area. I'll run over that with a DA real quick just to break it open. Then I'll block that out with 80 and then go to 180 on the DA. So these will be ready to prime. I'm going to go through the sunroof. Got a different sunroof. The one I had rust inside it, so we got a new one. Going to sand through these edges. This was repainted at one time, but I don't know if you can see that, but you can see the paint's chipping off where it was masked before, not sanded. So I'm going to sand through that edge and see if this will feather. It may not have been sanded at all, so I may have to take all that off. But that'll be next. I'll get the primer on this, and then I'll start sanding everything to get ready for paint. Alright, I've got the other rocker panel ready to go. Got to get some adhesion promoter on it, along with the rear valance. This is the one I had to fill a hole in on, right in there. I've also got the sunroof ready to go. He brought me a different sunroof, or actually had it shipped in. The other one had rust all inside it. That one I just sanded out with 180. There were no dents or anything, so I'm just going to go ahead and prime right over that. I'm going to start with about 8 ounces and see how far that gets me. mix that up real good and be back to spray it in just a second. I'll be back when I got all this done. Here it is after one coat. I did this last, it's still flashing off. It'll look exactly the same after the third coat, so won't be anything else to see later. I'm not priming the bottom of this. One piece left. I've got the metal valance that goes behind the front valance. I don't have it ready yet. I'm going to prime it with some of those M5 parts over there because I'm going to need some epoxy out for it. Luckily I didn't need any on this. Next thing's going to be paint prep on this. I've got to get the primer sanded on the other pieces that I did on the last session. Get those ready to paint. I don't think I'll paint everything at once, but I may just paint those 3 or 4 pieces I had ready first and then paint these after that, just to break it up so I don't have so much overspray in here at one time. See you then.